Level 1. Whale Explosion. In 2022, off the coast of Tainan, Taiwan, fishermen found a 17-meter 50-ton male whale floating dead on the water's surface. The cause of death, disease, or disorientation was unclear. They planned to transport the carcass to a research center for autopsy, but as they approached, a deafening blast erupted. The whale's body echoed, spraying blood, fat, and flesh into the water, accompanied by a horrific stench.
All of a sudden, that thing will just explode, too.
I'm not ready to
Oh, shit! White shark? No, it just blew up!
Oh my god, somebody caught that.
I got some gas.
I caught that whole video.
Are you fucking serious? You got a screen going up? Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh my god.
It's gonna sink. This was a National Geographic event.
I got that on video.
Are you serious? Are you still videoing?
God, I was hoping that was a shark.
I thought it was, dude. I just said, like, this thing could explode. Moment.
Such explosions occur when a decomposing whale's body accumulates gases, like methane and carbon dioxide in its stomach and intestines. Larger whales produce more gas, leading to more violent explosions. This wasn't the first recorded instance of such a phenomenon.
Det har vært nytt en vært særlig for kveldastøyene vi eier. At det at augustor vil drien i av planen, det jo selvsamt, men
The Great Tsunami. At 2:46 p.m. on Friday, March 11, 2011, off Japan's northeastern coast, it was just another ordinary Friday afternoon in the Tohoku region. One of those afternoons when the gentle sea breeze promised a quiet weekend, and people prepared for rest. Kids had just returned from school, office workers sent their last emails, and fishermen gathered their nets. In cities like Sendai and Kamaishi, life flowed with Japan's usual precision. But beneath this calm, 29 kilometers deep in the Pacific Ocean, the Earth held its breath, ready to roar. A roar that would change Japan's history forever. Suddenly, the ground began to shake. This was no ordinary earthquake. The Japanese are used to tremors, but this was different. Skyscrapers swayed like leaves, and the ground beneath bucked like a boat on raging waves. The shaking lasted 6 relentless minutes, the longest and strongest earthquake ever recorded in Japan, at 9.1 magnitude. When it stopped, the collective sigh of relief was quickly trapped in people's chests. The real disaster was yet to come. Minutes later, the most deafening sound imaginable echoed through coastal towns and villages. Tsunami warning sirens. Loudspeakers in a cold mechanical voice predicted waves of 6 to 10 meters. The people were trained. They knew what to do. Many calmly headed to high ground or designated shelters. The turning point of the catastrophe was here, a fatal decision born of false confidence. Many trusted the massive seawalls built by the government, symbols of Japan's advanced engineering and their guarantee of safety. Others went to official shelters, buildings they thought were tall and secure enough. They relied on ancestral experience and technology that had always protected them. But no one, absolutely no one, was prepared for what was coming. The sea retreated with terrifying speed, exposing the ocean floor, a sinister silence heralding the scream of an awakening monster. What came toward the shore wasn't a mere wave. It was a black wall, a rolling mountain of filthy, frothy water that blotted out the horizon with astonishing speed. Its approach roared like an endless freight train, mingled with the crunch of thousands of trees and buildings. The proud seawalls were the first victims. The black water surged over them with indescribable fury, as if they didn't exist. Within seconds, the tsunami reached the cities. The water, like a ravenous beast, devoured everything. Cars floated like toys. Houses were ripped from foundations and twisted like broken boats. Massive ships were hurled inland, crushing bridges. The air reeked of salty seawater and the sharp tang of diesel from crushed vehicles. Helicopter footage revealed a real nightmare. A black wave that smothered green fields, roads, and neighborhoods like black ink on white paper, erasing them. The terrified screams of people were lost in the deafening roar of the water. Those who thought they were safe in multi-story shelters watched in horror as the black water climbed floor by floor to swallow them. Those moments were the peak of human helplessness against nature. When the water finally receded, it left nothing but utter devastation. Cities that hours before buzzed with life now resembled vast, muddy graveyards. A deathly silence prevailed, broken only by the sobs of shocked survivors. The scene was like a battlefield where the enemy was the planet itself. The official toll painted the disaster's depth with cold clarity. 19,759 dead, 6,242 injured, and 2,553 missing. Families were forever broken, children orphaned in an afternoon. The world watched in disbelief as images from Japan flooded the airwaves. Walls fell, cities vanished, and thousands of lives were snuffed out in a blink. The March 11 disaster showed the world that humanity, for all its technology and pride, remains a vulnerable guest on this planet in the face of nature's true wrath. The wound inflicted on Japan that day will never fully heal. The Spark. On June 4, 2022, in an aluminum factory, workers toiled amid the deafening roar of machines and the acrid smell of molten metal. None could have foreseen the catastrophe about to unfold. Suddenly, an aluminum extruder malfunctioned. Within seconds, a terrifying sound erupted. In an instant, hydraulic fluid sprayed under high pressure, mixing with oxygen. A tiny spark, perhaps from the machinery's heat, ignited a blaze that engulfed everything. Flames spread uncontrollably, overwhelming the fire suppression systems. The inferno devoured anything flammable in its path. The only way to stop the hellish fire was to release the hydraulic system's pressure, but in that moment, workers scrambled to escape, uncertain of what the next seconds would bring. Miraculously, no lives were lost, but hydraulic systems in factories remain a lurking danger, where a simple leak can spark a deadly explosion. Level 2. Shadow Dude. In February 2017, in the quiet town of Carmel, Maine, a YouTube channel called Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, was launched by Kent Burris, who had recently moved into an old 2-story wooden house. Initially, his videos focused on everyday life in the sparsely populated area, but they soon took a darker turn as Kent noticed strange occurrences. Despite living alone, he heard footsteps, objects went missing or moved, and doors opened or closed inexplicably. He tried rationalizing these events, blaming wind or faulty doors, until he captured a fleeting shadow figure in his bedroom on camera, which he dubbed Shadow Dude.
Are you talking?
This wasn't the last sighting of the figure, sparking skepticism among viewers who suspected the videos were staged. However, Kent never monetized his channel, despite gaining over 100,000 subscribers, and kept comments disabled, uploading videos sporadically. A devout believer in spirits and demonic entities, he avoided profiting from his experiences, fearing it would anger the entities. This convinced many his motives were genuine. As paranormal activity intensified, Kent felt Shadow Dude posed a threat, once hearing it whisper harmful intentions. A near-fatal incident occurred when he discovered a flooded area in his home caused by a live electrical cable. Experts later confirmed stepping into the water could have killed him. Kent suspected the entity's involvement. He rejected costly suggestions to hire mediums or perform cleansings, unable to afford them or relocate. Contacting the house's previous owners only heightened his fears. They confirmed his experiences.
But you know what? I said I don't want to investigate this house anymore. But the thing is, they're not leaving me alone. I mean, I don't mind the good ones. The good ones are welcome to stay because they're good. I mean, if they're good ones. But ever since I shut this investigation down, this house has been extremely active. I mean, it's like quadrupled the activity. You know, another thing that's going on nonstop is they say my name. I mean, constantly they're saying my name. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if they don't say my name right now. Well, welcome to the House of Paranormal. If you wanted some evidence of paranormal activity, this is the house to come to. I'm leaving that light on just in case. I got this camera on me right now in case there's any EVPs where my name said. You can see my face and see I'm not the one that's saying it. Hello? Is anybody in here? Is anybody in here? Alright, well, the house seems quiet. If it starts back up, I'll hit record again. I'm going to set up 2 other cameras around the house. Just, whoa. That was some serious cold air that just went by my hand that's holding the phone. Hello? I just saw something move right there. You know, this area over here on this wall, this really makes me wonder because there's a very, very, very good possibility that's a big blood stain right there. And I know 2 people's died in this house, and I'm wondering if when one of them died in the house that they were decomposed so bad that the fluid actually ran off the bed, if the bed was in the same place, and onto the floor right there.
In 2017, WAB, a local main station, aired a report on Kent and the Lamb House, boosting his credibility. Encouraged, Kent opened his video comments and invited fans to visit, all of whom reported feeling the eerie presence.
Alright, I'll let you guys go up first. Watch your heads. When you get up to the top of the steps, be careful because you'll bump your head right into the wall.
See, I did.
I just warned you.
But I felt like someone was like right there that when it was weird. Oh, okay. Hi, different energy up here too. Completely different energy up here.
Did you feel a big difference when you walked into that room?
Huge difference in here.
Did you feel a big difference when you walked into that room?
Yeah.
What a heavy feeling.
It is extremely heavy. Like, it's almost like you don't want to move your back. It's almost like you don't want to move your back. It's almost like you don't want to move your back. It's almost like you don't want to move your back. It's almost like you don't want to move. Oh, I feel like I'm shaking out my boots over here.
Whoa.
I heard hay.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's weird feeling over here. This is really different. That's got a lot of high energy.
Is it okay that they're up here in this room? You can hear a voice from downstairs. Is it okay that they're up here in this room? The teddy bear on the bed right there, the little one, that's Naomi Mitchell's. It's the one I put on her grave in the summertime.
In 2023, a 4-part documentary, The Ghosts of Carmel, Maine, aired on Rural Chaos TV, earning an 8/10 IMDb rating. It validated Kent's claims but contradicted his belief against profiting, raising questions about his intentions. Some still debate the authenticity of his videos, citing his limited editing skills and open-door policy as evidence of sincerity, while others point to a hoax of Carmel, Maine Facebook page questioning his credibility.
So I go back downstairs and I said to Jude, I said, Jude, that's Nanu up in the bedroom. And Jude says, no, Nanu's up in Mommy's room, which is the witch's window room. And I'm like, okay, well, who's in the bedroom that slammed the door on me?
Two glowing eyes. On January 29, 2022, at the West Midlands Safari Park in Worcestershire, England, the Milner family was relaxing in their luxury lodge. Their 7-month-old baby, lying on the floor by a large window, gazed curiously into the darkness outside, as if something in the shadows caught their attention. Ben Milner, the father, was filming the charming moment with his phone, unaware of what lurked beyond the glass. Two glowing eyes staring back. Everything seemed calm until a cheetah lunged at the window toward the baby. The glass shook but held firm. Ben's hand trembled, but he couldn't move. Israel, or Baith, one of 2 cheetahs brought from a French zoo in 2020, was on the other side. These animals, the fastest predators on Earth, stood just beyond the barrier. If the lodge's glass hadn't been as strong as claimed, the outcome could have been catastrophic. Level 3. Vancouver Olympics. On February 12, 2010, at the Whistler Sliding Center in Canada, a few hours before the official opening of the Vancouver Winter Olympics, the air was cold and crisp. The air was cold and crisp, the kind of cold that burns your bones, but, for a Winter Olympian, feels like life itself. Around the icy track, flags of nations fluttered silently like a frozen rainbow, waiting to hear the triumphant cheers of athletes. But that day was one of those days when the sky seemed pregnant with a sinister event. A heavy, invisible silence cast a shadow over the track. Nodar Kumaritashvili, the 21-year-old Georgian, stood at the top of the track, his helmet over his face and his heart pounding with excitement and dreams. This was his first Olympics. The weight of his family's legacy, a family intertwined with luge racing, rested on his shoulders. He wasn't just there to compete. He wanted to prove to the world that a young man from a small town could reach the Olympic summit. The Whistler track had been infamous from the start, not for its beauty, but for its savagery. The fastest and most dangerous luge track in the world. Many seasoned athletes had called it a beast, where a single miscalculation could fling you outward. Speeds here topped 140 kilometers per hour, a velocity where the human brain has no time to decide, and everything depends on instinct and muscle memory. Nodar began his practice run. He navigated the first few turns with skill, his body coiled like a spring on the sled, his eyes fixed on the white icy path ahead. Everything was going well. But then, he reached the final turn, a turn nicknamed Thunderbird, where speeds peaked. Nodar turned slightly late, just a fraction of a second, a tiny miscalculation. But at 143 kilometers per hour, a small mistake is a death sentence. His sled hit the inner wall. That impact, like an electric shock, stripped him of control forever. The fatal decision, the moment that turned crisis into catastrophe, was here. That initial hit flung the sled toward the outer wall, a wall designed with a deadly shortness. Just beyond it, a massive, unprotected steel pillar, like a sentinel of death, waited. That pillar, that cold piece of metal, was part of the track's infrastructure, never meant to be approached by an athlete. In the next moment, time stopped. Nodar's body, with unimaginable force, was torn from the sled and hurled into the air. For a fleeting second, he was airborne, and involuntary. The 21-year-old athlete died instantly. The sole victim that day, one person, but that one person took with him a family's world and a nation's dream. The response was swift shock and disbelief. The Olympic Committee raised the final turns wall, padded the steel pillars, and lowered the starting point to reduce speeds. Changes that should have been made from the start, now a futile remedy after the tragedy. His family in Georgia was devastated. His father, himself a luge coach, told reporters with a broken voice. He called Gar on the face of the Olympics, a bitter reminder that, in the pursuit of glory and speed, the line between victory and tragedy can be as thin as a blade of ice, and some mistakes are never redeemable. Dangerous waterfall. On February 27, 2016, in Honolulu, Hawaii, a terrifying incident changed the life of Heather Friesen, a 22-year-old University of Hawaii student and professional beach volleyball player. A week before her final college season, Heather and friends hiked the Ka'au Crater Trail, a scenic mountainous path in Oahu. Filming the lush surroundings, she stood near a cliff edge when she slipped and fell 50 feet from a waterfall, landing on sharp rocks below. The impact was devastating. 10 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, a fractured shoulder blade, and deep wounds across her body.
Give me your left hand. Give me your left hand. Hey. Breathe in, all right? Breathe in here. Give me your left hand. All right, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah? Can you give me your left hand? I think you can try to talk to me. All right, stay there, stay there. Stay there, stay. Breathe in it. All right, deep breath.
I can't walk.
I need somebody down here to help me out. No, nobody can help. Oh. Right. Stay there for me, right? Just stay there, don't move. Alright?
She recalled, I couldn't breathe very well. I knew something had to be wrong. Death felt imminent. Her friends called for help, and a rescue helicopter airlifted her to a hospital, where it was revealed others had died falling from the same spot. After a prolonged recovery, Heather miraculously returned to beach volleyball, defying the odds.
I couldn't breathe very well, and so I knew that something had to be wrong. It's kind of that whole cliche, time slows down as you're falling kind of thing. I just kept telling myself to take deep breaths and just saying that I was going to be okay. There were actually 2 random hikers that came.
Missing girl report by the river. In June 2025, Brazilian journalist Lenildo Frazão was filming a report by the Miram River in Bacabal, northeastern Brazil, about the disappearance of a 13-year-old girl named Raissa. Unbeknownst to him, his report would take a chilling turn. Accompanied by a cameraman, Lenildo waded into the river, barefoot, to discuss its depth and dangers, aiming to warn others, especially children, against entering it.
Foi justamente aqui, pessoal. Nós vamos entrar agora na água aqui para mostrar para vocês o local. Olha, a gente já vê que aqui a água é muito forte, ó. E vai descendo, ó. Vixe Maria, vai descendo.
He linked the river to Raissa's sudden disappearance, urging caution. Minutes into the report, as everything seemed routine, a startling incident occurred. While standing chest deep in the water, speaking into his microphone, Lenildo slipped, feeling his foot catch on something unusual, possibly a human hand. Shocked and frightened,
Ó a fundura aqui, ó.
he signaled to his crew, too unnerved to investigate further.
Eu vou lá. Não vou não, eu tenho medo. Parecia braço.
Suspecting it could be Raissa's body, he chose not to act alone and called the police and search teams. On June 30, authorities searched the exact spot where Lenildo filmed and found Raissa's body. Examinations confirmed she had no physical injuries and had drowned. Her body was laid to rest that afternoon. It remains unclear whether what Lenildo felt was indeed her body, but his responsible reporting undeniably led to her discovery, bringing closure to her family and friends. Level 4. Salvador Ramos. On May 24, 2024, shortly before noon, Salvador Ramos, in his home in Uvalde, Texas, was arguing with his grandmother. Fled the house and jumped into his truck. By 11:30 a.m., Ramos entered Robb Elementary School, not empty-handed, but armed with the same weapon used on his grandmother. He stormed into classrooms, 112, and soon horrific bursts of gunfire echoed from within. At 11:37 a.m., the Uvalde Police Department, along with other officers, arrived at the school. Wearing protective vests, they initially appeared determined, but when Ramos fired from the classroom, wounding 2 officers, they retreated. The critical misstep came when the school police chief misjudged the situation as a barricaded subject. This error cost 376 officers from various agencies to wait in the hallways for over 70 minutes, while children inside desperately called 911. This error caused for entered 76 officers from various agencies to wait in the mission. Frantic and furious parents gathered outside, attempting to enter, but police clashed with them, even arresting some.
Get him! Get him! Help us, help us! He's doing it because his mom and
Nearly.
At 12:50 p.m., the nightmare ended when officers engaged Ramos, neutralizing him. But for some parents it wasn't enough. When police entered the classrooms, they couldn't believe the scene. 19 students and 2 teachers, Eva Morelas and Irma Garcia, had lost their lives. 17 others were injured, 2 of whom died in ambulances en route to the hospital. Salvador Ramos, born May 16, 2004, had attended Robb Elementary through 4th grade. Teachers described him as a shy child with a speech impediment, a stutter, mocked for it in his repetitive clothing.
That's why you always wear the same clothes every day. You ain't got no new outfit every motherfucking day. You wear the same thing, so shut the fuck up. You gotta tell us to say. You ain't gonna say nothing. Say to my motherfucking face.
After the pandemic, when schools resumed in-person learning, Ramos was expelled from Uvalde High School for poor attendance and grades. In his final year, he grew increasingly isolated, showing signs of violence, constantly talking about such matters. 2 months prior, due to a strained relationship with his mother, Adriana Reyes, he left home to live with his grandparents. His grandfather described him as quiet, spending most of his time alone in his room. Despite clear signs of violence, no one stopped Ramos from purchasing a gun, as he had no criminal record. The Uvalde community plunged into fear and grief. The police faced intense criticism for their delay. Pete Arredondo, the school police chief, was fired and faced charges of child endangerment, but pleaded not guilty. Level 5. Gym Assault. On January 22, 2023, in a Tampa, Florida apartment complex gym, 24-year-old professional bodybuilder Nashali Alma was training around 10 p.m. when she heard a knock at the door. Assuming it was a neighbor, she opened it and resumed her workout. She later told media, "I saw him once around the apartment complex, so I assumed he lived there." The man, Xavier Thomas Jones, entered, scanned the room, and suddenly attacked her. Nashali fought back, resisting his attempts to overpower her. She said, "I ran around the bench to call 911. He tried grabbing my phone and my arm." After exhausting him, she escaped the gym, returned to her apartment, locked the door, and called 911. Thomas Jones, a 25-year-old resident of the complex, had been fixated on Nashali, having seen her on Instagram and at the gym. His intent wasn't exercise. He admitted in questioning to attempting. Court records revealed he'd also tried to force entry into another woman's apartment in the complex but failed.
My parents always told me in life to never give up on anything, and that's one thing I always kept in my mind when I was fighting him. As long as you don't give up, you fight back, you show him that you are strong, that you are one, that you're able to fight back and survive this and get out of the situation, I believe it's possible.
Hillsborough County Police arrested him within 24 hours on January 23, 2023. He was detained at Falkenberg Jail, facing charges of burglary, kidnapping. Hell on Paradise Road. On November 8, 2018, in Paradise Colton Percifield, a 31-year-old construction worker got into his car to head to work, unaware he was about to witness hell with his own eyes. A massive wildfire, which would become one of the deadliest and most destructive in California's history, had ignited just hours earlier, spreading at a terrifying pace. Colton, living near Paradise, had his dash cam running as he drove through a path that seemed like the gates of hell. The road was shrouded in smoke, with flames licking both sides of the street. As far as the eye could see, only fire loomed. Other cars, some carrying fleeing residents, vanished into the smoke. Colton later said he felt his life was over, but told himself to stay calm and keep going. The fire, fueled by dry winds and years of drought, consumed tens of thousands of hectares in hours. Paradise, a quiet town of wooden homes and pine forests, was almost entirely destroyed. Thousands of buildings were reduced to ash, 85 people lost their lives, and many were left homeless. On the same road Colton traveled, several people were found in their burned-out cars. Level 6. Hunter and Prey in the Deep Blue. February 2025, Coromandel Coast, New Zealand. For many, kayaking is an escape from life's chaos, a chance to be alone with nature, to hear nothing but silence, stillness, and the gentle rhythm of paddles cutting through water. Matt, a 19-year-old adventurer, was seeking exactly that. Passionate about kayak fishing, he set out that morning from New Zealand's beautiful coast, expecting a peaceful day on the sea. The sky was clear, the ocean calm. Everything promised a tranquil outing. But deep beneath that serene blue water, an ancient predator was waiting, one that reigns at the top of the ocean's food chain. Matt was alone, several kilometers from shore, preparing his fishing gear when a large, dark shadow glided beneath his kayak. At first, he assumed it might be a pod of dolphins or a very large fish, but curiosity quickly gave way to fear. The shadow returned, closer this time, and then, slicing through the surface, a distinctive dorsal fin emerged. There was no doubt, a great white shark, one of the most powerful predators on the planet. Its body appeared larger than the kayak itself, roughly 4 to 5 meters long. This was no chance encounter. The shark was tracking him. This is where the story turns from a quiet adventure into a battle for survival. Matt turned on his camera, perhaps to capture his final moments, or maybe to keep himself focused. In the footage that exists, we see pure terror in his face, yet a remarkable calm in his movements.
If I throw a water bottle in the water, it might grab his attention and he might go and eat it. Oh, he's coming closer.
He knew that one wrong move could provoke the shark into launching a deadly attack. Matt started paddling hard, trying to move out of the shark's line of sight, but it didn't work. The great white trailed him with eerie determination. He was sweating from fear and constant paddling, doing everything he could to reach the shore, the only path to survival. When escape didn't work, he began tossing objects from the kayak to distract it, but the shark was undeterred. Out of sheer panic, Matt began praying, desperately wishing to reach land. Every minute he looked back, hoping the shark was gone, only to see it resurface again and again. For minutes that felt like an eternity, the shark kept playing in its deadly game. It would draw near, lock eyes with him, and then vanish into the depths. It became a full-scale psychological war. The predator was sizing up its prey, while Matt struggled to avoid looking like a threat or an easy target. Experts say that in situations like this, maintaining eye contact and showing awareness can help discourage a shark, as fleeing in panic can trigger its hunting instinct. Matt did exactly that. Calmly and deliberately, he showed the shark he wasn't some helpless seal. It was a dangerous gamble, but it seemed to work. After a few agonizing minutes, the shark appeared to lose interest and slowly disappeared into the deep blue. Matt sat motionless for a moment, waiting to be sure the danger had truly passed. Then, using every last bit of strength, he paddled toward the shore.
I have lost sight of him. I don't like that. I've lost sight of him. Fuck, where is he? Completely lost sight of him. He could just be swimming underneath me too. Holy shit. I don't know where he is. I do not know where he is.
Fishing was no longer on his mind. He just wanted to feel solid ground beneath his feet. The heart-stopping video of this encounter was reportedly viewed millions of times online, becoming a classic case of human confrontation with the wild. Ahmedabad amusement park disaster. On Sunday, July 14, 2019, a horrific tragedy struck Kankaria, amusement park in Ahmedabad, India. A popular pendulum-style ride known as Discovery became the center of this catastrophe. The ride, designed to seat 32 people in a circular arrangement, swung riders back and forth, reaching thrilling heights. A viral video captured the incident. The ride operated normally, at first, with riders screaming in excitement, creating joyful memories, while onlookers watched and recorded. But in an instant, the scene turned nightmarish. As the pendulum reached its peak, the main shaft's connecting cable snapped. causing the entire structure to plummet. Approximately 30 people were on board, and the crash resulted in a devastating impact, even striking those below. Tragically, 2 young individuals, Manali Rajwati, 24, and Mohammad Zaid Momin, 22, lost their lives, and 29 others were injured, with several in critical condition. Subsequent investigations led to 6 individuals, including the managing director of Superstar Amusement Private Limited, being charged with culpable homicide for failing to adhere to necessary safety protocols. This negligence turned a fun weekend for families and children into an unforgettable tragedy. Midnight. In March 2019, in a Bangkok, Thailand home, a bedroom CCTV camera captured a terrifying scene involving 75-year-old Ku Sudsofa. Installed by her son Nakorn to monitor her, the camera recorded a python slithering toward Caillou as she slept at midnight. The snake bit her foot, jolting her awake. Screaming, she turned on the light and fled to wake Nakorn. He drove the snake off and called firefighters, who found it in the bathroom, removed it, and took it to a wildlife center. Ku was unharmed but deeply shaken. Level 7. Stolen motorcycle. On April 2nd, 2024, in Chester-le Street, County Durham, Northern England, 20-year-old Siren Parker from Pelton was spotted riding a stolen Kawasaki 300 motorcycle around 10:30 a.m. The bike had been stolen from a backyard in Stanley at around 1:20 a.m. that day.
I just wanted to report some dangerous driving. 2 youths on a motorbike. They've got hoodies up, they haven't got helmets on, and absolutely tearing.
A patrolling police motorcyclist saw Parker riding without a helmet and signaled him to stop, but he sped off at 60 miles per hour in a 30 miles per hour zone. A bystander had already reported him to the police, alarmed by his reckless speed. The police pursued as Parker dangerously overtook vehicles, drove on the wrong side of the road, and crossed a pedestrian crossing against a green light. Reaching Chester-le Street's front street, he lost control, crashing in the town center. A part of the motorcycle struck a 12-year-old boy, injuring him. Parker was thrown off, sliding across the pavement and sustaining severe injuries.
Right stop.
First aid kit. First aid. Just stay still and then we can sort you out, okay? I need no. What's your name, mate?
Right, and I'll tell you what, you're going to see a bloke just bought the base, man.
Kieran, at the minute I couldn't care less about that. My main concern is whatever injuries you've got.
Open break.
Listen to us carefully, right? What I'm doing now, mate, is putting what we call a tourniquet on your leg. What that's going to do, it's going to feel canny tight, okay?
Oh, I'm in a bad way here.
What we've got, mate? So we've got there's some scissors, mate.
I've got you. Please take this, Kieran.
I want all these off.
Put this on your hand. Okay, this is for you to self-administer. Breathe in and out. If you need to increase your strength.
That's what he's just something from the bike hit his ankle. That young lad.
See if he's alright. One male come off his motorbike. He's got a foot fracture to his lower part of his right leg.
Shocked onlookers called an ambulance, and responders rushed to save Parker, who was in agony. He was hospitalized with a compound fracture in his right leg and deep head wounds. Tests revealed he was under the influence of... On February 13, 2025, Parker pleaded guilty in court to theft, dangerous driving, driving without a license, driving without insurance, and driving under the influence. The judge sentenced him to 14 months in a young offenders institution. Wedding in the tunnel. On May 14, 2023, on a highway near Aqaba, Jordan, a truck driver cruised at a steady speed between 30 and 60 kilometers per hour. The road was clear and smooth until a long, dark tunnel loomed ahead, the Aqaba Tunnel, where everything changed. The driver suddenly blared the horn, confronted by cars blocking the way. With no time to brake, the truck smashed into them, crushing everything in its path. Later, it was revealed that a wedding caravan had inexplicably stopped inside the tunnel. In this tragedy, one person, Ahmad Al-Gharabli, lost his life, and 13 others were hospitalized with fractures and bruises. Jordanian police launched an investigation, concluding that the primary cause was the caravan's illegal stop, though the driver was also faulted for failing to brake in time. Remarkably, the family of Ahmad Al-Gharabli chose forgiveness, waiving their right to press charges.